everyone. The time is 1:26 p.m. and it is January 21st, Saturday. Welcome to another Great Lakes weather. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. I'm going to give a little bit of an update regarding the winter weather we're expecting next week. I know I did a previous video about it discussing where snow could potentially wind up falling at the greatest rate, and I think that's changed a little bit. It seems like the heavier snow is starting to drop down a little bit farther to the south than what was projected by the models previously. So I'm going to go over those models, and also I'm going to go over the potential for snow tomorrow. I also wanted to mention that we are now going to be live streaming to Facebook and to Twitch for any future storm chases that come in the next year. We've finally got that set up, so make sure to subscribe to one of those platforms and you'll be able to stay updated on potential storms that could be moving through the area, and they will be on all of those platforms from here on out. So make sure to subscribe and stay updated. And now we are going to dive right in to the forecast. So let's make sure it pops up here real quick, and there we go. Alrighty, so this is the Weather Prediction Center's website. This is freely accessible to you, so you can use this information as well yourself. But here's what we have going on. All right, so the projection is, this is actually the day 4 through 7 projection, because I want to focus on that winter storm that was projected for Wednesday. And what I'm seeing right here is the chance of snow or rainfall, precipitation, exceeding a 0.25-inch liquid equivalent of snow or sleet, which means if we compare that in a 10-to-1 ratio, it's about 2.5 inches of snow that would be falling according to what this is saying. And right now we have a 10 to 30% chance of that occurring across parts of central Indiana, southern Ohio on Wednesday. This is as of Wednesday morning. Okay, then we get into Thursday and it shifts to the northeast. Now the Weather Prediction Center and the pivotal weather models do show a little bit of difference in regards to this projection. So I do think National Weather Service gets this way better than the models ever do. I mean, they definitely do it all the time, so they're definitely worth our trust. But this particular model does show it's going to focus up towards parts of northeastern Indiana and northern Ohio, and then southeastern lower Michigan. Now it looks like this storm's going to be farther south right now, based on what I said in my previous video, is going to go right up through Michigan. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. It does look like it's going to be a little bit farther south, and I'm going to look at the models and examine why that is in just a minute. But day 4 and 5, so this is Wednesday and Thursday, we do see that winter storm potential still on the horizon according to what the Weather Prediction Center is saying. I'm going to show you exactly where the focus of that snow could be according to current models, which could very easily change in a little bit. But let's go forward to the models now real quick. I do want to show what's happening in the upper levels, because I do think a lot of what we're going to be seeing over the next several days will be attributed to the upper levels. And all I'll say is that winter is definitely returning. All right, and I will say that the cold temperatures are going to be returning along with that. So you're looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly, so kind of the temperature differences at different levels of the atmosphere right now, and you see several ridges and troughs built into this graphic. Here's one of the troughs. This trough is the one that's actually going to bring the snow to the Great Lakes region tomorrow, and it looks like maybe about 1 to 2 inches of snow. I don't think there's going to be any more than that. It's looking like a really light snow event, but still enough to cause some minor travel impacts, not anything too significant though. This trough is going to lift off to the northeast, and you do see it right there, the trough that's digging across parts of the eastern United States. The northern edge of that will have the snow on it, the snow that we will be getting tomorrow. So that's going to lift away. We'll see a little bit of warming in the temperatures, maybe in the mid-30s on Tuesday. So it's looking good for that regard. And then you see this new trough that digs in on Wednesday. Now, here's the thing, that the trough does not deepen as much as what was previously projected by the models. It does deepen a little, and it does widen out, but it does not look like it looks like it's going to be more of a longer duration snow falling event than a wind event. So I do see that according to what the models are showing. And then pay attention to what's going on over here just south of Alaska. That ridge that's building in, that ridging that's occurring in that area, will allow for some Arctic air to dive down into the United States once again. We had that already happen once in December. It's likely going to happen again, and I think it could happen in the beginning of February if what the models are saying right here hold together. So you also see this ridge up near Greenland that will contribute to that support for a ejection of cooler air into the United States. And you'll see that as we go forward a little bit into the models. So you see this high pressure building in south of the Alaska region. This trend does show that will allow for Arctic air to surge down into the eastern continent of the United States. How cold are we talking? Not too cold as of yet. It looks like the temperatures will be around 20 degrees or a little over 20 degrees in some places once this comes in. This is January 27th, and the temperatures around that time do look to be in the mid to upper 20s. So it's not going to be extremely cold, but I do think some wind chills will bring temperatures down a little bit. I'm more concerned about the cold that will be coming near the beginning of February, which I'll show what that looks like on the current models in just a minute. It's likely going to change a little bit more as we go through, but I do see a little bit of a change in the models as we go closer to that time. You see this kind of deep trough that kind of surges in there. That's associated with that cooler air that's going to be coming in, and I do expect that there probably will be some snow associated with this as well, perhaps maybe a bit of lake effect and maybe a few clipper systems that could possibly move through as well. But you do see these two high pressures, these two ridges that are building in across Alaska and parts just south of Greenland. I do think that's going to allow that Arctic air to just plummet into our area. But the beginning of February looks like the most strongest surge of it, according to what this model says. Look at how deep that trough is in by Tuesday, January 31st. You're going to have some very cold air making its way into the Great Lakes region, and I do expect that this, according to what the models do say, it does appear that this trough could very easily make its way into parts of the Great Lakes region before warming once again. You do see it kind of as strong once it's over parts of the Wisconsin, Minnesota region, and it seems to weaken as it gets to the Great Lakes region. I do think still that a trough that strong will still allow for very cold air across parts of the Great Lakes region to still make its way in, and I do believe that the winds could be kind of strong with this as well. A deep trough like this next to a ridge like this could foster some winter weather activity. So it's just going to be something to watch as we get into the beginning of February. Still can't make any for sure determinations on how that's going to play out. But that's what's going on in the upper levels. The upper levels have a major role in what's going on at the lower levels of the atmosphere. So it's good to always check that before we get to it. All right, let's take a look at this winter storms that could be occurring over the next couple of days, or the winter weather events. I'm not really going to call them winter storms. They really don't look like the most as intense as they did when I showed you the previous video regarding those winter storms moving through. But if you look at this brief storm on Sunday, not really going to drop too much snow, maybe 1 inch. You're lucky if you get 2 inches of snow anywhere in the Great Lakes region from this. It's really just going to briefly tap on through the area and then move on out. We'll bring quite a bit of snow to parts of the northeast as it makes its way out of there. And then the next storm, the one that we were more concerned about last week, not as much now. According to the models have really shown that is actually going to make more of a southward trend. So that's central Indiana, central Ohio, northeastern Ohio, places like that I think could see snow according to what the current model assessment says. But if you go a little bit further into this area, you could see Wednesday, this is at about, I'd say 10 a.m. on Wednesday. You see that snow starting to dig in. It really doesn't look as intense as what it did previously, okay? And the pressure is a little bit higher. It's not as deep as it showed on the previous models. It is a little bit higher, which means it's not as strong of a low as what was shown previously. But it still is going to dump some heavy snow, I would say, over parts of Indiana and Ohio, still drawing on that Gulf moisture and allowing it and taking advantage of it. And it does look like it's going to make more of a southward trek through Kentucky. This is what the Euro was showing previously as well. But you do see that snow kind of settling over parts of central, northern Ohio, Indiana, and then parts of extreme southern lower Michigan are going to see light to moderate snow as what the current models portray, and still will last maybe for a little bit of a while because that low looks like it could possibly deepen just slightly as it heads out towards Lake Erie, and then it moves off to the east and then gets deeper as it goes up in that direction. But looking like some Alberta clippers could surge in here on the back side of that, but that's something we're going to wait to make an assessment on. Really doesn't look as bad as before, but it still will bring quite a bit of snow to areas that are sort of just north of that low, and the track still could change a little bit as we get close to the event, but we're now starting to get a more firm grasp as to where the storm could potentially hit. So this is the current snowfall projections according to the Euro model. I don't think I want to show this just yet. I want to go to the precipitation type first, but to show the agreement on the models. So let's look at this. Again, light snow possible across parts of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio on Sunday. I'm not going to get too much snow from that. You go to the next storm that is coming on Wednesday, Wednesday morning. So you do have that. You do have that snow band that sets up. It does show the same pressure setup as the GFS does. You do have that snow across parts of the north, Ohio, Indiana, southern Michigan, just like was shown previously. It does place the snow a little bit farther north, the Euro does. And as the GFS is starting to get a little bit more towards the Euro, I'm starting to trust the Euro assessment quite a bit more. But you do have northern Indiana, northern Ohio, southern Michigan, seeing that snow, and then you do have some heavier snow, maybe some freezing rain as well. Looks like you could have some freezing rain in parts of the southern Great Lakes region as well, whereas in Michigan it's going to be mainly snow and light snow at that. But I do think that's going to cause some pretty decent travel impacts for central Indiana, parts of Ohio, probably north of Dayton. We'll see the more intense snow and ice if they get a large chunk of it. And I do think some lake effect snow will probably occur on the backside as that cooler air begins to settle in, and won't be any surprise. We've had a very mild winter so far, and I do think the lake effect snow machine will still be able to ramp up pretty strongly with that cool air surge that comes in. So that's what the Euro shows. Let's take a look at snow totals according to what the models are saying. Let's take a look at first of all, the Euro model. We'll zoom in on our area. Again, don't trust the full scale of the snowfall totals just yet. There's still some things we have to determine before we finally come up with it. So this is the first snowstorm that goes through on Sunday, the first snow event. It looks like not even an inch or more, maybe in some spotty places down near Cedarville, 2 inches of snow, but not a huge chunk of snow occurring connected with that. So that's the first snow event that occurs Sunday. So factor out an inch or two into the next storm that moves through, because this is including the total amount. But you go farther into the time frame of that next snowstorm. The Euro is actually showing lower snow totals than before. You do have snow totals of 4 to 6 inches. It appears across much of the Great Lakes region. Anywhere pretty much south of Grand Rapids is looking like you could see 3 to 6 inches of snow. Ohio, you do have 6 inches. Places near Dayton, 4 inches, 6 inches on the Indiana-Ohio line. It does look like there will be enough snow to cause some travel impacts, but not nearly as significant as what was being shown by the models previously. That's the nature of the models. They change as the new data comes in, the new algorithms recompute all of the data, and that's what comes up with. So it's kind of a difference, but we do see some more potential for some snow coming into February as well. Here's what the HRRR shows for the snow tomorrow. Again, kind of a bit more focused amount of snow anywhere southeast of Fort Wayne, maybe towards Lima, Ohio. Those places could see 2 to 4 inches of snow. We were just talking about severe weather there a couple days ago, but 2 to 4 inches of snow across parts of that area seems like a fair assessment of what you could possibly see down there with this one. This is the HRRR, so has a very reliable snow total amount as well. And then the GFS, again, showing the higher end snow total potential with this setup. It does show that main band will likely focus along parts of central southern Indiana and then western northeastern Ohio. That is what the GFS is showing as its focus point. Again, it's likely going to shift north or south still with still a couple days out from the storm on Wednesday. And again, also keep in mind to factor out maybe an inch or two of snow from this total, given that it also includes the snow that we're going to be seeing tomorrow. So that is what these current models are showing, and we'll just have to see how the models portray the next system that could be moving through near the end of January, early February with that very cold air, and see how cold it's possibly going to get. That will come in a later video. May go out and do some shooting of some snow. So if you see me live, go ahead and check that out. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where most of the information comes in at. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hopefully this has been helpful breakdown of things that could be going on for you, and stay safe on the roads. It's definitely going to be slick, but it's currently not looking as intense as it used to, but still going to be quite slick. So be safe on the roads, and I will see you all a little bit later.